We're going to start today a brand new topic. I'm very excited about today's topic because it's a very interesting one. I think I spoke about this once in South Africa, and I got a lot of good feedback because it's a topic that is very negea, but one that's very unclear, and it's almost not so much known about it. So we're in our sugya of Ben Adam L'Chaverei, and we just came off yesterday discussing the halachos of hating somebody else, which is a terrible, terrible thing. I want to move today to a brand new sugya, and the sugya is called revenge. Now, it's important because we don't often realize some of the things that we do are because of revenge. And at certain times we'll do things without even realizing that we're actually paying somebody back, right? Now this can apply in a bad setting or even in a not such a bad setting, which we're going to get to. Let me give you just a little bit of a background. Today we're going to go through the background. Tomorrow, Be'ez Hashem, we'll go through the halachos. Yeah, tomorrow. There's a famous Vilna Gaon, okay? The Vilna Gaon brings down that there is no extra word in Mesilas Yesharim except for the 11th parak. Now that means either the Vilna Gaon held there was an extra word in the 11th parak, or he never went through it in the same way he went through the other previous 10. But what it means to say is that the Vilna Gaon is expressing that when it comes to Mesilas Yesharim, every word is Kodesh HaKadoshim. Every word is to be taken literally and to be, learned as Torah. Right? I think Revege Miller once said, the way to learn Mesilas Yesharim is not just to read it. People say, okay, I finished Mesilas Yesharim. You finished Mesilas Yesharim. You don't finish Mesilas Yesharim. You have to learn it. You have to live it. The way to learn Musa is like a tosfos. You take Mesilas Yesharim, you learn 2 lines, you put it in your brain, you put it into your blood, you put it into your nervous system, into your body, into your actions, into your life. You can't just learn Mesilas Yesharim. Take an art scroll and go through read the words and that's it, Rabbi. Done Mesilas Yesharim. It doesn't work that way. To do Mesilas Yesharim means you have to live it. To live it, it takes a lifetime, but you have to start somewhere, right? So, every word in Mesilas Yesharim is Kodesh HaKadoshim, and it's measured, and it's very, very important. Let me tell you what the Mesilas Yesharim says, okay? We're not here to learn Mesilas Yesharim, but I want to point out one nekuda in Mesilas Yesharim, which is very chashuv. It's in Perek Yud Aleph, when Mesilas Yesharim talks about revenge. Listen to what he says. He says, Kosher libodol mimena. It's very hard to distance yourself from revenge, because if a person feels insulted, he wants to pay the person back. But nekama, revenge, says in Mesilas Yesharim, is metuka kidvash, is sweet as honey. Have you ever heard the term sweet revenge? Mm-hmm. Like, revenge is sweet. It comes from Mesilas Yesharim. It's like sweet. You pay someone back, you feel good about yourself. Got him back. I showed him. It's geschmack. I feel better about myself. We always say this many times, and we'll talk about it by Shmir Saloshon. When you want to become better, when you want to rise up, there are 2 ways of doing it. There's the cheating way, and there's the real way. The real way is to work on yourself and become a better person and build yourself up and just become a choshev and better person. That's the hard way. The cheating way is just to put somebody down. You put somebody down, you push them, you squash them, you degrade them, whatever. So now you're automatically up. That's a cheating way of doing things. But Al Kaponim says the Mesilas Yesharim, revenge is motuk kedvash. It's sweet like honey. It's geschmack. People feel a certain geschmack when it comes to revenge. Somebody upset me, he said something about me, he did something to me, whatever it may be. I got him back. It makes me feel better. Okay. Now it's very, very negay. I'll give you a small example, by the way. How could this be negay? In a small way. You make a chasna, you make a kiddush, you make a shalom zacha, you make a simcha, and this guy doesn't come to your simcha, right? He's at home, he's not away, right? He doesn't come to the simcha. Okay, you with me? Next time he makes a kiddush, how quick are you going to go to his kiddush? Or are you going to say, well, he never showed up to my kiddush, he didn't come to my shalom zacha, so why should I go to his? Or he didn't give me a bar mitzvah present, why should I give him a bar mitzvah present? Okay? People do this all the time. Okay? Is everybody with me? Yeah, you with me? People do this all the time without even realizing that they're doing it often out of revenge. Listen to the lashon of the Orchos Tzadikim. I always refer to people, when people ask me, what should I learn from Musa? So there's many, many beautiful Musas for him, and they all really should be learnt. We need to know all of them. But if a person has an opportunity to learn one, at the early stages of learning Musa, I always try to recommend Orchos Tzadikim. I don't know how many of you have ever experienced Orchos Tzadikim. Anybody here have done Orchos Tzadikim? I did it in my Shir 1215 for a while, about 2 years ago. Guys really enjoyed it. It's very practical. It's very down to earth. It goes through each midah, whether it's cruelty, whether it's happiness, whether it's sadness, whether it's zrizas. It goes through each midah that we have. Talks about the milas and the chasroinus and how a person can perfect it. Upon him, he has a shar, a gate of achzorius. Achzorius means cruelty. And he writes in Orchos Tzadikim that revenge is rooted in cruelty. Now most people, I imagine everybody over here, and I think everybody would agree to me, would say, I'm not a cruel person. I'm the opposite of a cruel person. I'm such a nice person. I'm such a kind person. I'm such a giving person. I'm not a cruel person. A cruel person is that horrible, really mean person that's cruel to everyone, that puts everyone down, insults everybody. Me? I'm not a cruel person. The Orchos Tzadikim says that when a person takes revenge, it's rooted in cruelty. And the Chazal tell us, if you have rachmanos on other people, then HaKadosh Baruch Hu, midah keneged midah, has rachmanos on you. Okay? And that's a very big yesod. If you want the Rebbeinu Shalom to have rachmanos on you, you have to have rachmanos on other people. Now, the Torah recognizes that human beings do have a cruel streak. Right, the same idea, Donald Halskos, exactly, very good. Right, HaKadosh Baruch Hu acts sometimes midah keneged midah in the way that we act, right? He reciprocates. So the Torah recognizes that a human being does have a little bit of a cruel streak within him, and therefore that's why we are required to distance ourselves from cruelty and make sure there is always compassion in every case. Now, I want to bring to your attention a very important Rambam. Okay, again, today we're just going to do an introduction to the sugya of revenge, and Mitzvah Shem, tomorrow we'll go through practical examples of what is revenge, what's not revenge, what's considered revenge. I'll just give you an interesting question. What happens if you go to a restaurant, okay, and the waiter does not serve you in the way that you would like to be served? Now, at the end there's a tip that you have to pay. Don't have to pay suggestion. I'm not going into all that, but the better the service, generally the bigger the tip in some way. He didn't serve me well. I don't give him a big tip. Is that revenge? Are you doing revenge when you don't give him such a big tip? Or I'm paying for a service, he didn't give me the service, therefore I'm not going to pay him. I'm just giving you an example of something that theoretically, I don't believe anybody in this room would have thought that could be revenge. What shaykh is revenge? Maybe it's not nice, but revenge? How could it be revenge? How could it be revenge? Because I'm giving him back what he got. I'm giving a taste of his own medicine. I'm not going to repay him for what it... I'm not talking about not paying someone for a service they did. Chas v'shalom. Of course you have to pay someone. What he deserves.
No, but it's not.
The tip is based on
what he deserves based on how
when
he
you
worked.
tip someone more, when you tip someone...
It's because they did better service.
He was great and whatever, and I'm going to give him a tip.
If I pay
So
for a
did less.
5-ounce steak and I get a 4-ounce,
And something
bring a
else.
scale with me, and I pay less.
I'm not talking about when you're not getting what you paid for, what you ordered, right? Service, you cannot really describe the service that a waiter has to do for you, right? Nowhere does it say he has to smile, he has to be nice, he has to give you all the options. This guy didn't. He was in an angry mood. What can I do? He might say, gave you your food, you got what you wanted, you got the drinks, you got... Yeah, but he wasn't...
The tip is already extra. You don't
Okay,
have to give a tip.
Rabbi say it was just a question. We'll get to practical examples, but I'm just giving you an example of what could be a shaila of revenge in that case. Now, let me mention another very important nikud as well. We spoke about this in the beginning. Where in the Torah does it talk about midas tovas? Hello? Where in the Torah does it say to have good midas?
It's sort of common sense.
In the beginning, Bereshis bara Elokim?
No.
Ah.
The beginning of the pasuk.
Which pasuk?
You
Look for it.
Gimel.
So it's interesting. Pretty much most midas are not mentioned in the Torah. Which one is, by the way? There's one that's prominently mentioned in the Torah. No. There's one that's prominently mentioned in the Torah.
What?
We learned it.
Lashon hara.
Through.
Yeah. There's one.
Lashon hara is definitely...
Come on.
Well,
Yeah, but
what was the question?
I'll keep it available. It's true, but I call it a midah. It's
What was
hard
the
to call it a
question?
midah.
What was the question?
I'm going to give you a hint. Aserat debrot. I've just narrowed the whole Torah down into that. Jealousy. That's a big one. No, you're right. There are other ones as well. Embarrassing. We learned that from the Gemara. Most midas are not mentioned in the Torah. Do you know why? What's the reason? If midas are so important, and we're talking about them, Ben Am Lechaveh is so choshev, why doesn't the Torah have a parasha in the Torah telling us all the midas? Don't be jealous. Oh, it does. I mean, don't pay people back, don't do revenge, don't hate people, don't love people, to give the chesed. Like, what? Just spell it out for us. If it's so choshev, tell us. The answer is simple. Derech Eretz kodma la Torah. Okay? Derech Eretz comes before Torah. Which means before you, it's like a prerequisite before you can even learn Torah, is you have to have good midas. It's like poshet. It's almost like, I'll give you an example. The Chinuch declares this. Anoicha Hashem Elokecha, the very first of the Aseret Dibros. What is the first Aseret? By the way, how do you translate Aseret Dibros?
10 Commandments.
10 Commandments. What is a commandment? Give me a different English word. Obligation. Okay, great. What is the very first of them? Again, what is the first one? Spell it out. Say it to me. I am Hashem, you go to take you out of Egypt. Wonderful. What's the instruction?
Don't serve another God.
That's the second one.
Know that I'm God.
What is it? Rabbi, I'm asking you an Aleph-based question that every single one of you should have learned in 4th grade. There are Aseret HaDibrot. There are 10 commandments. A command, he said correctly, was an obligation, something you need to do. What is the very first one? I am your God who took you out of Egypt. What's the commandment? Where is it? The other them are serve your parents. Don't kill. Don't steal. Don't do.
You have to say Hashem took us out of Egypt like twice a day.
That's beautiful. But where's the command? Anoichi Hashem Elokecha. I am God. Interesting, no? Where does it say to remember? It says it in the sense to remember? No.
Where does it say
to not kill, and it says Dibbers. Where does it not steal? It says Dibbers. Where does it come to Vikram? Where does it keep Shabbos? All in that says Dibbers. Anyway, so the point is that it's an interesting one, and the truth is the Chinuch has a whole shiloh about this. If the first one is a command to believe in God, meaning Anoich Hashem means I'm God, but you have to believe in it. That's the belief. Or is it not a commandment? Someone's showing him hold. Listen to this. It's a chiddush to most of you. I don't think any of you have heard this before. It's the first of the 10 commandments is not a command, and therefore there's really 9 commandments.
And it's the first
Why? And it's the first one. Why? Because it's the prerequisite for the rest. How can you not serve other idols or other gods if you don't believe Hashem is God? It's so basic, it's so fundamental that there could not be a command about it because all the rest of the commands based on that one. Okay, it's a machlokes we're showing him. I'm not going into now because that's not a sugya. But why am I telling you this? I have no idea. But how do we get onto this? Oh, because some things are not written because they're so obvious. They're so basic. It's almost like, I'll take a wild example. You get married. All of you at the right time. Be'ez Hashem. No, I didn't mean that. Sorry. Anyway, all of you Be'ez Hashem will get married. Be'itu Bismanu at the right time. B'siyat Dishma, you come back and join the base of the Koilot. It's going to be Gavol. I'll come on him. Where am I? So, you get married, and there's a star that says what you're going to provide your wife with. It doesn't say on the star that you're not going to mess around with other women. It doesn't say on there that you're not going to. It doesn't say that. Right? Why? Because it's a given. It's a basic. There are certain rules in the yeshiva that we don't say. When I go to interviews and guys are like, okay, Rabbi, give us the rules. The first question normally is the phone. And if a guy says to me, so we like to go to town at night? Like, okay. Quick, I'm just scribbling something down, not accepted on the town. If a guy needs to ask that question on the interview, and it's like, I see that's what you know. Right, exactly. So, the point is that there are certain rules that are not mentioned. Yeah, exactly. Somebody asked me that, by the way, in that yeshiva. Anyway.
Someone asked what?
That one.
This one.
Sure. Anyway. Oh, is you as well? No way. Did you actually? Okay, we're on camera over here. Got to be careful, Rabbi Say. Turning time, we're going to take me down. Rabbi Say. So where am I? So there are certain things that are not mentioned because they're so obvious, they're so normal, they're so understood. Zuk the Rambam. The Rambam in Hilchas Deis, when he goes through the certain Deis of people, he says Deya Rahi Ad Ma'oid. It's a very, very bad midah. Right? It's a very, very bad midah, and he's referring to the idea of revenge. The Rambam rarely uses such a strong lashon. It's a very bad thing. In Hilchos Tshuva, okay, so we have to end with this. In Hilchos Tshuva, the Rambam talks about revenge in Perek Beis. Halacha Yud in Hilchos Tshuva, we learned it before Yom Kippur. And the Rambam says, he talks about don't be mean, not to accept someone's tshuva. If a guy comes over to you and says, I'm really, really sorry, I did something wrong, I apologize, will you be moichel me? And you say, no. Says the Rambam, don't be an achzori. Don't be a mean, cruel person, because that's not what a yid is. A yid doesn't take revenge. A yid doesn't take revenge. You did something to me, I'm not going to moichel you. No, a yid doesn't take revenge. Aber zog the Rambam, a goy does. Zog the Rambam, the nafkamina between a yid and a goy is revenge. Meaning a goy has no problem taking revenge. A yid is not a yid if he takes revenge. And therefore the Rambam is defining to us, Rabbi Isai. The Rambam is defining what is a yid. The definition of a yid is someone that is not makbel on other people, doesn't hold hakpodas, is not revenging on other people. Because you did this, I'm going to be makbel, I'm going to hold it within me. We'll talk about the details of Mitzvah Hashem tomorrow. But the definition of a yid, Zug the Rambam, is someone that doesn't take revenge. Rabbi Isai. We'll take questions in a minute, but just realize a lot of the things we do sometimes do include revenge. We have to really take it seriously. We have to realize it. Tomorrow, Mitzvah Hashem, we're going to go through some more of the sugya, some more of the shaylas halacha and ma'aseh as well.